Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you're at. Welcome to acu-connect. We have our edition days with distribution. I'm very excited. We have a whole great group of people that are here to share all of their insights with you. Let me just get the slideshow started. So, a quick agenda. I'm going to tell you a little bit about acu-connect before I pass the baton. Kelly is here from Acumatica to give us a distribution edition update. I'm personally very excited about that one, very invested. We have Rockton with Blake Rockwell with Rockton Pricing Management, EBizCharge with Matt Rogers and Sam, and I'm going to butcher this, Sam, I apologize, Courtier.
Close enough.
Okay, sorry. B2B, First e-commerce, we've got CIMcloud with Carrie Mead. We have Profit Max Platform, Cavallo with Dean Holmes. Ooh, and I'm excited about this one too. Barcode Scanning and Labeling, Cedar Bay with Roger Teagle and Matt Brown, and will be followed up with a Q&A. So just a little bit about us at acu-connect. Our mission is to provide Acumatica community members with a network for Acumatica Cloud ERP education, resources, and collaboration. We are a not-for-profit company, organization, I won't call us a company, and we are very grateful for every last one of our sponsors. We'd like to say thank you especially to our charter sponsors, all listed here. We have premium sponsors, and we have some save the dates I'd like to share with you. But again, I would like to wholeheartely say thank you to every last one of our sponsors, because without their support, we would not be able to provide the education and support and community in our little corner of the Acumatica ecosystem. So if you've got your cameras out, you can save the date with this QR code. We've got some great stuff coming up. We have our Connection Hour virtual networking on June 11th. We have another one of these edition days, but in June. This one is for manufacturing, another one of my favorites. acu-connect, love this event. It is September 18th and 19th. Lots of good stuff, wonderful presentations. I highly recommend you come for as much of it as you can. And all of this can be found on our acu-connect.com events. So let's get started. I'm going to make Kelly our first presenter.
Okay. Let me just pull up my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, I'm Kelly Squizzero, and I am the Senior Product Manager for the Distribution Edition. Good morning, and thank you all for including me in today's presentation. I'm really excited to be here. I wanted to share today, I only have a few minutes, and really what I wanted to focus on today is our vision for the industry and the distribution edition. So we know that distributors play a critical role in the supply chain, as you can see in that graphic along the bottom. You sit right in the middle. On one end, you're purchasing products from manufacturers and suppliers. You're coordinating with logistics providers to move goods efficiently throughout the supply chain. And on the other end, you're selling these products to both B2B and B2C customers. It's a complex balancing act, and we understand the challenges that come with it. At Acumatica, our vision is to simplify that complexity through industry-focused digital solutions. We're here to help you harness these technologies. We know it's, for you, it might seem like a daunting task, but we can make it easy for you so that you can make smarter decisions, you streamline your operations, and deliver that exceptional customer service. And we're also focused on ensuring that you are able to be profitable and grow. So we want a scalable solution. So we bring this vision to life through our distribution edition, but it's more than just the capabilities that many of you are familiar with. It is just as much about our powerful cloud native platform that you see there across the center of the slide. Our platform is modular and scalable. So why does that matter? Our solution will allow you to grow. So, when you first buy the product, you buy certain aspects of it, but keep in mind, we offer quite a bit. And if your business is expanding beyond just traditional distribution, whether it be retail, e-commerce, manufacturing, whatever it is, we're all in one platform and very scalable. Another key element is the fact that is our ability for integrations. And that really comes down to the open AIs that we offer. And all the vendors here today are taking advantage of it. But it's with that technology that we are able to really round out our solution with these complementary packages. So as part of our strategy, I also wanted to mention that we will continue to invest in solving real world business problems with artificial intelligence and machine learning. We really have, just about a year and a half ago now, started with anomaly detection. With the next release, we're going to be putting out the smart cross-sell recommendations using artificial intelligence. So this is an area we're very excited about, and we look forward to collaborating with all of you. If you have ideas or areas where you would like to see leveraging AI and machine learning, please don't hesitate to reach out. So really, it is a combination of the deep, rich industry capabilities along with our platform that will bring you the success that you need. Okay. So, one of the things that I love about the Distribution Edition is really how versatile we are. We are not just serving one type of distributor. We're supporting businesses across a wide range of markets, many of which you see here. So whether you're an industrial supplier, you're selling consumer goods, or running high volume e-commerce, we have the solutions and the capabilities that you need. So we also understand that the challenges that each of you face are different, right? You don't all speak the same language. You all may be and have an element of distribution, but oftentimes your focus is different, and we have to recognize that and solve to that. So some of you are managing really complex procurement cycles. Others are juggling inventory across multiple warehouses. Many of you are doing both while trying to deliver faster and more accurately. Also, again, that you can have that exceptional customer service. We will continue to ensure that Acumatica is flexible, scalable, and deeply connected so you can adapt quickly, serve your customers better, and grow your business with confidence. Lastly, I just wanted to, share with you as again, many of you know, this is what, Acumatica Distribution Edition looks like. These are the key areas that we focus on within the core of the Distribution Edition. We help you manage your inventory with precision. We streamline sales and procurement. We optimize warehouse operations and connect your front-end commerce with back-end finance and reporting, and so much more. It truly is a comprehensive solution, and we couldn't do it without the partnerships of those that are in our ecosystem, these vendors, many of which are here today to share with you, that focus on some of the most strategic aspects of your business. So with that, I'll pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Blake Rockwell. I'm the technical sales lead here at Rockton Software. We're one of the great ISVs here that we actually help with the pricing component of Acumatica Distribution Edition. So I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about it. I've only got a few minutes to talk to you about it here, and then I'll kind of show you kind of a mini demo about what we offer. But at a high level, we offer Rockton Pricing Management, or as I like to call it, RPM. Now, Rockton Pricing Management really builds upon Acumatica's pricing. And what we're going to do is be able to make that sort of your free sandbox. And so any sort of complicated pricing you might have, whether that's markup, margins, cost plus pricing, maybe you're managing like royalties, rebates, tariffs, commissions, all of that complex calculations we're all going to handle in our engine. It's going to be a seamless and automatic integration within Acumatica. And so once we have it set up, we set up all of your pricing rules, set up all of your commissions and all those other things that affect pricing. And then from there, once it's set, it's just going to work in the background. You're just going to use your sales order, invoice, quotations, and as well as the field service module, business as usual. It's going to be an automatic integration when you add your line items to those orders, quotes, invoices, or field service orders, it's automatically going to populate with the right price for the right customer at the right time. So I'll show you a little high level overview of how our solution kind of works. Just kind of a quick visualization of sort of the types of problems we help solve. But you know, all this sort of stuff. And so let's go ahead and hop over to Acumatica. I'm going to show you the seamless interaction you're going to have with Rockton Pricing Management. So right here, I have a sales order pulled up. Now keep in mind we integrate natively with the orders, the invoice, the quotes, as well as the field service module. So as soon as I add a line item here, I'm going to go ahead and just add one. I have some sample data. So these items are kind of funny. Like for example, this Lego set. As soon as I pull this Lego set in, right away, we're going to see this unit price right here populate. That unit price came from Rockton Pricing Management based on whatever rules I've set up ahead of time. And those rules are virtually up to your imagination. We can handle just about everything. So I'm going to switch over here from the grid to the form view. I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to actually be able to see those adjustments that influenced the price that came out. Over there, we saw the price spat out $280 for that Lego set. And over here, we can see what price adjustments applied. In this case, we can see quite a series of applied. We have about 4 or 5 here. We have a customer discount for silver. So that means that ABC Capital Venture, we passed some sort of attribute associated with that customer, that is loyalty level was silver, passed it into our engine. Our engine returned this discount only for silver customers. Any customer who has a gold level or a bronze level or doesn't apply to this filter, this would be ignored and they would not qualify for this discount. And of course, this all happens seamlessly behind the scenes. We have our cost plus markup. It's one of our strong suits, is that we're going to be able to do cost plus pricing, taking the cost value inside of Acumatica, doing whatever markups you want to it, and returning that price. That way, when your costs change, so does your price. And so if tomorrow my cost changes, but I'm still doing this type of pricing, cost plus or cost-based pricing, when my prices increase tomorrow, my prices are automatically going to increase. It's because how our engine works is it's just a calculation engine. It's on the fly. When that line item is added, it makes a call to our engine and it returns that unit price field. You can also do stuff like cool promotions, calendar based. And so right here, I can see a May 2025 sale of $525 because May 25% off. And so that applied. And then down here, I can see we also had a 3% sales commission. All of those were tracked to a general ledger account. You can track to any general ledger account here. I'm not an accountant, of course, I'm a sales guy. So you might think, well, what are these debit credit accounts you have set up? I've just set these up as random ones, but you can track them. So to make this make more sense, you'd probably say customer discount would be tracked to discount silver receivables, discount silver payables, or your commission would go to your sales commission payables. So effectively, we can do any math, track it to any general ledger account, build up those accruals, and then you kind of do with them what you'd like from there. So that's how we're naturally able to handle things like pricing, but also things like commissions, royalties, tariffs, rebates, and so on. Now let's look at another line item here. If you see, I have 3 line items here. One of them is Powerade, and Powerade is technically in the category of food and beverage. And so when I switch over here to the line details, you'll see that while all of the pricing seems the same, it actually has one more adjustment here. It has that 3% sales commission, the May sale, the cost plus. It's still the silver discount because I haven't changed the customer up here. But you see that there's a vendor rebate of 6% on food. And so now I've tracked this rebate to a general ledger account and calculated and accrued that amount there. So as you can see, a Lego is not a food item, and therefore when I switch to the grid and form view, it does not have that pricing there. So that's the cool thing, is we can filter. There's no limit to the number of filters. There's no limit to the number of calculations. It's basically your sandbox. You can set up as many rules as you'd like, and we're going to get you the right price for the right customer at the right time. So that is kind of a high-level overview of what we do inside of Acumatica. Now, we are a standalone web application that actually sits outside of Acumatica, and an API call is made. That API call is virtually instant. We can handle millions of calculations a day, and so there's not going to be a lag or a slowdown in your system by using our pricing solution. And now I can show you just a quick overview of how that web interface looks. Before I do, I just want to let you know that because this is our web interface, it's not something you guys are likely familiar with. You probably haven't seen it before. But when you buy Rockton Pricing Management, we have you buy an implementation package. And so our team is actually going to sit down with your team, figure out exactly how you want to do pricing, talk to all of your salespeople, figure out all the prices they have stored in their head, all the prices you have on your sea of Excel sheets, and put it all together and combine it into a usable pricing system. And so really, it's not an off-the-shelf pricing product. It's just not. What it is a pricing transformation process. The ability for our team to sit down with your team, figure out exactly how you want to do business, and build you that pricing system that's going to serve your company for years and decades to come. So with that being said, I'll take my last minute here really quickly just to show you a quick overview of this little web application. And so it's pretty simple. It's pretty sleek. All you have to really be concerned about at a high level is on the left here, I have two tabs. One of them is my Acumatica data. So I have customers, items, or any other data I might drive pricing on. So units of measures, we can have different prices if it's a pallet or an each or an ounce or a pound or whatever. Our document attributes, our general ledger accounts, all that stuff is going to synchronize in here. So that's the data tab. And then the second tab is the pricing, where we actually put down our pricing rules. And it might look something like this. For example, you saw in my example, I had some things like the customer discounts, I had the vendor food rebate, and you can see here that I have a gold, silver, and bronze all on this customer price group, but only that silver applied in my example. So you can add those exceptions, and as long as there's an appropriate filter that filters it out, you're good to go. So it looks like I'm out of time. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to hear about Rockton pricing management, and I'll hand it off to the next presenter. Thank you.
Up next, we've got Sam and Matt with EBizCharge.
Thank you.
Excellent. Can you hear me okay, Jennifer?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Let's keep this party rolling. So hello, everybody. My name is Matt Rogers. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Alliances over here at EBizCharge. I'm joined by Sam from our support management staff, who's going to help us out with a super fast demo. But real quick intro, EBizCharge is a payment acceptance tool, so an AR payment acceptance tool for Acumatica. We've been working with Acumatica since 2016. I think 2025 R1 was our 20th release. So we've been doing this and been in this game for quite a long time. And we build acceptance tools to accept payments, whether it be by a credit card or by bank account, and have them directly integrated inside of Acumatica. Like was mentioned kind of at the very start of this presentation, there's a ton of different ways that distributors do business. And there isn't kind of a one-size-fits-all approach. Many of you do business in person or over the phone or online or out in the field. There's a variety of ways that you guys need to be able to accept payments from your customers. And EBizCharge, quite honestly, has all the tools to be able to do that. Whether you're, again, doing business online, in person, you're taking payments in the front or in the back, or you're doing recurring billing, or you have terms billing. However you decide that you want to do things, EBiz has tools and features that are directly integrated to Acumatica to make the payment acceptance easy, the payment application automatic, and just life in general much easier. So we're going to go over real quick through demo just a couple of those cool tools so that you can see how they work and you can see how integrated EBiz is into the Acumatica framework. We are an Acumatica Platinum Development Partner. We're a certified application. We're an always current application. So what you're going to see is going to look like the actual architecture of Acumatica itself. So we'll go ahead and show you guys a quick demo and then, get into a couple more items and get this party moving.
Beautiful. Let me make sure it grabs the right screen. Can you all see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Take that as a yes. So running the quick high level into Acumatica, as Matt said, EBizCharge will tie directly into the payment and application function inside of Acumatica and allow for the dynamic acceptance of cards on the fly for both authorize and capture against payments and prepayments. With our solution, it'll pop up our integration and tie to our gateway for card entry and allow for payments to be run on the fly by any staff using Acumatica. For where we accept payments, it'll be on sales orders, service orders, payment application records, essentially any payment eligible document inside of the Acumatica interface. Also tied to our function inside of EBizCharge is customer initiated payments. So in those places where you're allowing your team to take payments, you can actually send links out. I'll hop over to another sales order and use our generate payment link or our email pay function to get the link to our cardholders to allow them to run their own payments. With the generate payment link, we can run this on a schedule and filter out which customers are eligible for the link to be generated by terms code or customer class. And when the link is generated, it can be put onto the custom order or invoice in any place, color, or format that's wanted. And with that link, it'll actually allow for the cardholder to click on the link and either pull up their saved cards, new cards, and enter those forms. Now, very important when utilizing EBizCharge is these forms tie into some of our fraud modules and cardholder protection for our merchants to allow things like 3D Secure, which you can follow up with Matt on, or our fraud modules to auto-decline transactions based on certain billing responses brought back from the card issuing bank. Any payments run through this form allow the cardholder to send themselves a copy of the receipt if they want it for their records, and then utilizing that nifty Acumatica scheduler tool will actually pull and post those transactions automatically back into Acumatica, or if they prefer, we do provide a manual interface through our custom screens to allow merchants to have control of that themselves. It's really flexible and based on what they want to do. We do also have some enhanced features if you want a follow-up demo to go through things like our customer portal, allowing a secure site for cardholders to log in and make payments against their invoices. And we also tie into the Acumatica Field Service app and the Acumatica Customer Portal to allow for payments. Sprint done.
What was that, Sam?
That ties up my quick demo.
All right, yeah, I know. We got to see about maybe 10% of what's actually there. We got a time constraint. Can you give me back sharing options? There we go. All right, and yeah, just to kind of wrap this up for us, here are several reasons on why businesses, Acumatica clients choose to do business with EBizCharge. As you can see, we're fully integrated to Acumatica. No weird pop-ups, no external sites, external portals, right? It's all baked into Acumatica. We do our own implementations. We provide our own support. When you work with EBiz is truly offering the entire suite of services. We are the payment processor, we are the payment gateway, and we are the actual application. So there's no division, there's no multiple companies, no multiple vendors. Whenever you have a question, an issue, need training, whatever, you're calling and dealing with the same people every single time. There's no finger pointing, there's no, oh, I got to check, there's none of that. All of our support is in-house. We have about a 30-second average hold time to speak to a human being. Our development is also in-house. So if support can't help and answer the question, they can get out of their chairs and walk down the hall and go talk to our Acumatica developers because everyone's here in-house. You got to see a couple features that our solution has. There's a plethora more. A lot of customers lately, really like those click-to-pay options that Sam had shown. They also really like the functionality that our customer portal has, specifically as it relates to auto pay. So being able to set your customers up to be on an auto pay schedule where their invoices automatically get paid off on their due date or at a certain time of the month if it's a statement auto pay, or if it's recurring billing and they want to do subscription type payments, right? And all of these are automated with Acumatica to bring the payments back in and apply. From a security standpoint, EBizCharge is the only solution that's interfaced with Acumatica that is both PCI compliant and a PCI validated solution. So not only is our gateway and our company PCI compliant, but PCI actually went over our applications. It's about a 2-year process and certified it themselves, which is quite a big deal. I know we're just about running out of time. Real quick on the pricing topic, our solution costs nothing to deploy and to maintain. you only pay processing fees, and we have a match or beat policy. So payment processing is not going to be more expensive. It likely will be less with EBizCharge. And yeah, anyway, thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate the opportunity, and we'll keep this party moving.
Absolutely. Up next, we've got Carrie Mead with CIMcloud. Hi, Carrie.
Hello. All right, I think I've got my screen up there, hopefully, and you guys can see it. Again, my name is Carrie, and on behalf of everyone at CIMcloud, appreciated for the opportunity to be here. So in 8 minutes, I'm going to cover 3 things. First, I'm going to briefly touch on who we are, who CIMcloud is. Then I'm going to share why we exist. And finally, and most importantly, I'm going to detail how you can determine if any of that matters to you and when a platform like CIMcloud might be the right platform when you're looking for an e-commerce solution. So who we are, CIMcloud has been in business for a little over 2 decades. Over that time, we've been working almost exclusively with product-centric companies, so distribution companies, manufacturing companies, others involved in the product lifecycle, to help them bring their employees and their customers online with self-service tools. So we really have 2 goals we're aiming at with every customer we work with. That's to help them grow their business, maximize market share, and to become more efficient. So that's who we are. So why do we exist and what's unique about CIMcloud? And there's really 3 pillars to our why in our solution. The first is we are B2B first. We're ERP integrated, and we are an e-commerce platform. So B2B first, ERP integrated, and we're an e-commerce platform. So let me break those down. And this is the part where you determine, hey, should I even be listening beyond the next 30 seconds? So B2B first. We found over those 2 decades that there's really 6 key indicators for you to either self-identify as a B2B first business, or if you are working with a company, if they're B2B first. And you could see what they are. Do they sell to other businesses? Do they have the different prices? Do they use invoices? Do they have specific buyer experiences or product situations? All the things you see up on the screen are key indicators that you are likely B2B first. And I'm going to explain why that's so important when it comes to picking a solution. It doesn't mean you're only B2B. You might also, and we support, selling direct to consumer as well. But it's crucial to identify early on if you're B2B first, because it has massive implications. So the second part of the why we exist is that we are ERP integrated. So we're obviously here today because we are integrated with Acumatica. We're an ADN level 2. We've been technically validated. We have a no-code deployment that doesn't have any runtime dependencies. And we have live customers today running on multiple versions. So distribution is one, also manufacturing, and also the general version as well. So why is that important? When we started to build our platform 2 decades ago, what we realized, what we saw, is that if you are product-centric, you are likely already depending upon an ERP system, in this case Acumatica, to run your business. So everything we do, we call it honoring, everything we do honors the ERP or honors Acumatica. So if you have customer specific pricing and inventory and warehouses and all of that already set up, we're not trying to create it again over on the e-commerce side, but rather build upon and leverage the data, systems, and processes you already have in place with your ERP system. And then the last part is we're an e-commerce platform, and there's really 3 parts to that. At the very left, there's Acumatica, it's your ERP. As part of our platform, we provide an ERP sync tool. So it's all in the cloud and via API with Acumatica. We also do sync with on-prem ERP systems as well. And then it finally ties into our platform. And when we think about our platform, there's really 3 key building blocks to it. There's the more traditional e-commerce. So these might be B2B specific portals. It might be public catalogs where people can either purchase or just see products or log in and see their own special pricing. It could be punch out catalogs. All of that to us is part of what we do every day on the e-commerce side. We also provide our customers with their employees with worker tools so that they can do, they've got product management or product information management tools that sit on top for the e-commerce side, content management, managing a lot of the settings and configurations within the application. And then finally, the third part, which we use ourselves, is we do have an API Cloud Data Hub. So this is how we connect to Acumatica, and it's how we also connect with other third-party tools who you want to integrate with as part of our platform. So that's the high level on why we exist. So so I'm going to give you an analogy now. And so this is one we use quite frequently, and this is crucial for you to determine how and if CIMcloud's right for you. So if you look at e-commerce platforms, just like if you look at cars, there's a lot of options out there, right? There are a lot of great options. And in the car market, if you're looking to get your spouse plus 2 kids around town to soccer events, Camry is a great vehicle. It's a beautiful sedan. It's got leather interiors, great radios, cool air conditioning, and you can get there in style. But if you're looking to take down trees off power lines in the middle of an ice storm, a Camry is not going to do the trick. You need a bucket truck. So keep that in mind. There's many vehicles, but what's the right vehicle for you? So as you think about your overall e-commerce solution, your goal, trying to get to market, again, there's always these 3 components. There's the ERP platform, Acumatica. There's a tool that's syncing, and then there's the actual e-commerce platform. And all 3 of them have 3 layers. There's the actual platform at the core. There's customizations on top, and then there's all of your specific configurations, data, and content that makes that your unique solution when you go to market. So all 3 components always exist. The challenge is if you are B2B first and you select a direct-to-consumer first platform to go to business, to go to market rather, that platform is dependent on many apps. So in the car market, you might say, hey, listen, if you're going to take down a down power tree, I need a bucket on top. I need bigger suspension. I need bigger wheels. Well, in a D2C world, you might just do that by adding all these apps. The issue is when you're doing that, you not only have customizations all around your platform that are very expensive and difficult to maintain, now you have to have all kinds of customizations in the sync, because the sync tools that aren't B2B first and part of the platform aren't designed to handle all of these. So what you end up with, if you go to a B2B platform like CIMcloud, is the vast majority of the sync and the platform is core to what we do. It's either in our core platform or through our standard optional modules. You may still have some customizations on top, but you don't have to focus in building, in this case, a whole different platform, a whole different highly configured situation just to be able to take your product to market, to give your vendors portals where they can log in and basically improve your overall efficiency. So what we've seen in the years is that there's a lot of beautiful Camrys, a lot of beautiful e-commerce platforms out there. But when you're buying a platform that's not B2B first and ERP integrated like CIMcloud, what you're really buying is a car and a whole fleet of mechanics who are going to have to customize that, versus what you actually need. In taking down the down power trees, it's a bucket truck. In B2B first e-commerce, it's CIMcloud. So appreciative of your time. Remember this, there are a lot of cars out in the market. They are wonderful. We don't make as many cars as other people, but if you need a bucket truck at CIMcloud, we believe we build a damn good bucket truck. So I appreciate everyone's time.
That was awesome. Thank you, Carrie. And now we're moving on to Cavallo with Dean.
Right. You can see me there. Hi, everybody.
And we can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you to Jennifer and Darcy from acu-connect for having us here today. Thank you, Acumatica and Kelly. And thank you to all the other sponsors for helping make this happen. And most importantly, thank you to all of you out there listening today. My name is Dean Holmes, and I'm the lead product marketing manager here at Cavallo. And as you can see, I'm kind of a geeky guy, so I love talking about technology. And I'm excited to introduce Cavallo and our Profit Max platform. But before I jump into a demo of our solutions, I want to first set the stage, as it were, for the problems we are trying to help solve. The average mid-market distributor earns less than 5 cents per dollar of pre-tax profit. Now, there's a good chance that you're making more, especially all you Acumatica customers out there today. But even if 5 cent average doesn't apply to you and you're making 10 or 20, Wouldn't it be nice to know if you could make more and how? Well, in order to fully understand if you're achieving maximum profitability, you need to unlock the billions of data points that are sitting in your ERP. And I do mean billions. If a distributor is handling 500 orders a day, 2,500 orders a week, times 52 weeks, that's 130,000 orders per year. Multiply that times 50 fields per order, 10 lines per day, 20 human touches, and you get to 1.3 billion data points really, really fast. Maximizing your profitability requires understanding all those data points and how they impact your business. And purpose-built technology specifically designed for distributor profitability is the way to make that happen. That's where Cavallo comes in. We created solutions designed specifically to make our distribution customers more profitable, competitive, and valuable. We do that with over 20 years of experience in distribution. We were literally founded inside of a high-performing distribution business. We've served thousands of companies and helped them recognize millions of dollars of value. And that's just not me talking. We have 92% customer retention rate. Our support and services team carries an NPS score of 95, and we have over 20,000 customers on our software. Cavallo blends 20 plus years of operational know-how with purpose-built algorithms and responsible AI that's been designed specifically to help distributors uncover margin leaks, protect profit, and grow value. We call that the science of profit. And by integrating with Acumatica and applying the science of profit to ERP data, we help businesses achieve maximum profitability. So for our example distributor who's selling 25 million on 130,000 orders a year, they're working hard to profit 1.25 million before taxes. And again, the nickel is just an average. You might be making 10, 20 points, but wouldn't it be nice to know if you could make more? And understanding your data and how it applies to your profitability is key to making that happen. Now, as I get ready to swap over to a demo of the Profit Max platform, I'll be focused on how our solutions can help answer some of the questions that dynamically impact profitability. Do you know down to the penny which orders, items, customers are or aren't profitable and why? And do you know which customers are likely to churn? And more importantly, how much margin is at risk if they do? All right, so with that, I'm going to jump in and we're going to talk about our platform. So this is our Profit Max platform. This is your home screen. We've, again, purpose-built some solutions for you that are populating up some of the most important data for you as a distributor. And can start very simple with just a simple margin summary. $44 million company, 19.3 in COGS, 25 million gross margin. They made $2.7 million last year. This is great. Doing a great job. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of some stuff I'm going to talk about. You'll notice that there's some negative numbers over here on pricing. It means that I didn't necessarily make as much money as I possibly could. So I'm just going to go ahead and start exploring down into my profit indicators, which expands that P&L a little bit and gives me a little bit more details to show my year over year here in this case. And I can dig in and see my orders volume, my sales volume, COGS margin, etc. And you can see I've added up to that 2.6. Now, I've done pretty good this year, right? But I know that there's going to be some economic impacts that are coming down the line. I want to potentially increase my margin a little bit. And Ava, our profitability navigator, has already actually started to look at that and said, hey, here's some what if scenarios that you could do if you wanted to increase your margin by 5%. Could boost your lines per order. We could drive higher average sales per line, or we could target and acquire new customers. So that's pretty cool. So I'm actually want to test this and see what's going to happen. And I'm going to drive into our what if scenario generator. So I can see that if I want to boost our existing margin when everything stands the way it is, I can do that by increasing my average line per price by 2.84%. But we know that coming this year, well, maybe there's going to be a price increase for some reason on our platform. So I know that I'm going to have a little bit less margin there. So I might need to consider increasing this a little bit higher. But I also know that that could cause me to maybe potentially lose a few customers. So what do I need to do to continue to build that margin? Maybe I need to bring my average orders per customer up by a little bit. And you can see that I can start playing with scenarios where I can start understanding how to adapt when there's change required in the market. So what if analysis, very cool for allowing you to build out and look at those scenarios. Now, what if I want to go from the macro scale? I want to go from the high end and I want to start digging into and understanding more about that down to the penny. I can go ahead and look at my margin variance analysis. And margin variance analysis is where I'm doing deep analysis on all the factors that affect my profitability, whether that's customers, items, sales reps, customer class, item class, etc. And you can see here even though I had a 2.7 million positive, I actually had a negative of $714,000 in my price. And I can actually go down here and see and start to understand, where did that come into play? Was it an item or specific items that were giving me problems? And I can dig down and understand the loss and understand where I'm having negative margins for each of these. And I can even go out into the related lines and see what of those individual lines within my invoices, where was that causing me to have a problem. So margin variance analysis gives me a really deep understanding of all the different economic impacts that affect my profitability, and gives me the ability to build levers to understand what's going on and make changes there. Now, I'm going to switch over from the margin side of things a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the customer sides of things. We talked about understanding our value of our customers and if they might be considering leaving us. So in our customer side of things, one of the first things that jumps out is our ABCD segmentation. If you've maybe tried to do ABC segmentation, you maybe do this regularly, maybe you have to done it once. We do this automatically. We're constantly updating our ABC segmentation for you, and we're basing this upon 40 plus variables. So we're not just looking at one variable or one or two variables to understand the value of your customers. And here you can see in my A segment, about 1,200 of my customers, so about 11%, are making up about almost 80% of my margin. Whereas I can see I got a handful of customers here that are causing me to lose money. I can even dig in deeper, and I can say I want to look at these and compare them across the board with multiple variables, which can be very important, because you could understand how if I only looked at things like average orders per customer, I might think that my D customers are actually a better customer than my B or C because of something like that. Whereas I can tell that I'm actually losing money on these customers. Now, as you can imagine, this allows me to do things like maybe make pricing changes for my D customers, etc. And then the last thing I want to show you is our churn prediction model, which is where I can actually we're actually determining whether your customers potentially might be at an elevated or high risk. How much value is that concern there? So in this case, my elevated and high risk, I've got it $700,000. And I can even sort this and say, you know what? I've got actually A customers that are in this, and I want sales and marketing to target these people. So thank you again for allowing me to present our Profit Max platform. And for those of you who want to reach out to us, you can go to cavallo.com, set up a demo, and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And on to our final little presentation. We got Roger and Matt with Cedar Bay, barcode scanning and labeling.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. Cool. So I'm Roger Teagle. Thank you to Darcy and Jennifer for setting this up. We've got saving the best till last. I'm from Cedar Bay in the UK. We are an Acumatica reseller, and we also have a ISV product, which is Cedar Bay barcoding and labeling. Within the 8 minutes, I'm not going to cover too much about our company or references or things like that. That's all on our website. So really focus on the product, what it does for distributors, how we can help some of the guys out there. So the Cedar Bay data capture solution focuses on error proofing and streamlining your Acumatica processes to provide business with real-time data for better decision making. We have a screen on the left, which is what the data capture solution looks like. I'll go into a few more of those, but typically these are running on scanners or and printing labels on Zebra printers or other like roll label printers. We're fairly agnostic on that. In terms of how do we help distribution edition users, we have around 20 standard transactions to support distributors. There is the way it works, we have a real-time connectivity into Acumatica using the REST APIs. So that gives you an instant feedback to the scanner as to what is going on. If you scan your confectionery packets and not a part number that it recognizes, it instantly throws it out. It doesn't store any data anywhere other than in Acumatica, so it's directly linked and uses the Acumatica data. We have simplified configurable screens. That makes it super simple for people to use, and those screens allow you to support paperless processes and things like picking, which is obviously key for distributors. We have validation built in. When I talk about validation, that's steps within the process to allow to force the user to scan an item. So for example, if he's picking an item from a rack, he may have to scan a lot number or a part number just to make sure it is that is the actual item he's got. That obviously allows you to reduce stock errors and remove misshipments from the process, which is a huge cost for businesses. We can help streamline processes by allowing you to improve on the Acumatica processes. So, for example, in a shipment, you may be able to change the allocations on the fly with a scanner without being able to, if you have security, without having to go back to an Acumatica screen. It's all configurable, so it allows customers to tailor and control the solution, both in terms of the transactions, but also set up users, menus, and all the rest of the bits of data that they need. So completely configurable to allow you to focus down on exactly what the customer wants. And as I said, labeling is built in, so we can label from our transactions. That supports both the roll labels that was in the previous screen, but also like mobile printers, so allow you to print labels on the fly. In terms of what it looks like, it runs on an Android scanners, Android tablets, Android phones. Very simple, easy to use menus, and or it runs on a Windows client. So again, very simple menus. These menus can all be exactly tailored to what that user, who the user is, or groups of users, and you can change the colors, you can change the iconography, you can change all of this and have logos of your business all built in. So typical screens, we've seen the two menu options. The third screen along shows you what a typical screen looks like on a scanner. It's super simplified. You have one field to scan. When you scan, that automatically populates that field and allows you to collect the data. You can also type it if you don't have a barcode, and also use our RFID scanners in the same way. And all of the data that we present is made to be really easy to understand, and you can, using the configuration, configure what information you do want to show your users. As I talked about the configuration, there's a web-based control panel to allow you to simply configure the system. Allows you to set up users, set up the menus, set up the transactions. And this is just an example of, for a transaction, the sort of tick box arrangement that we have around the configuration options. This is actually for a PO receipt and shows how some of the label printing configurations that you have. Do you want a prompt for a label, etc., etc. There are, for a purchase or receipt, around 100 configuration variables, just to give you an idea of the sort of flexibility that's built into the transaction. And you can use multiple copies of the same transaction for different areas within your business. So if you're receiving different types of products, you can configure those and attach those different transactions to different users. Labeling, as I said, key part of the process. We were at the summit and there was many people who were worried about being able to print to label printers. Some examples of the labels that we've printed for customers allows you to print different quantities on different, if you have multiple pallets coming in on one purchase or receipt, for example, and very easy to reformat those labels if you are a customer. So I'm just going to use a picking example here just to explain a little bit about how the transactions work, just to give you a feel for how they work. This is on a Windows client, but it would look exactly the same on an Android client. So this is a sales order pick and ship transaction. We've got a list of the sales orders that are due to a shipment here for this particular user, and we're going to start by selecting the first one. That shows that this sales order is open. We're showing 2 lines on this sales order with the shipment quantities, nothing shipped or allocated on this transaction. We're going to select the first line to go and pick, and it shows us automatically where there is a product for that line in the warehouse. So we've got 2 lines here, 2 different lot numbers, and we have 15 and 1 in this location. So we'll go to that location and we'll go and select that one. When you select that item, we've got this validation turned on, so it asks for a lot number. We'll have to scan the lot number to prove that we've picked that particular item. We can allow it to change lot numbers if we allow that to happen within the configuration, but this it's allowing me to scan this. So I scan this, and then it takes us to the next menu, next item, which is to allocate. So how many do you want to allocate? We can allocate 15 to all of this. Again, you could turn that off by saying, I want to allocate the whole quantity. It will go through this process. So it now has, we've got 16 picked for this shipment. We can now then go through the same process for the next line, and we're going to select the 50. That then takes us all the way through. So that's done, and we've picked this, we'd hit finish, and that would update Acumatica automatically with all of these bits of information, the lot numbers it's picked, and the ship quantities that's ready to go. And go on to the next part of the process where you print the packing information and go on to the next steps. We could integrate that with carriers and distribution carriers so that this automatically creates an upload to the carrier information and gets ready for shipment. Pricing, I watched lots of these demos and I always think, oh, that looks brilliant. That's really could make a massive difference to our business, but I'm worried about how much it might cost. We think it's very, very cost effective. It's $600 a month to give you an idea for 5 users plus services, around 50 hours to get a set of basic transactions running. So very low on services work. And we'd offer a 10% discount software for the first 5 acu-connect members. So that's my presentation. I might be a little bit ahead of my time, but there's the information there in terms of contact information for our website. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to hear from you soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Roger. We can go back ahead. We are to the point where we have a Q&A. If anybody is got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the questions. I'm not seeing anything pop up. Does anybody got questions I can help with? Anybody for any of the presenters? Okay. Does not look like we've got, you guys covered a whole lot of stuff. It was great material. I'm very excited. Probably gonna be reaching out to some of you myself, given I'm actually a customer too. So, but I would like to thank all of our sponsors, thank all of our participants, and especially thank you to all the attendees. We hope you guys took away some great nuggets. I know I did. And we look forward to seeing you again at some of our things in the future. So have a good afternoon.